Yeah, looks like everyone is in. Let's go start, guys. Let others come in if, as and when they want to. Sharing my screen. I was told by Ravi that he gave you introduction about the workflow approvals and how they work in ERP Cloud. So he has given you an introduction bit. And what we're going to do is we'll do a hands-on exercise in the instance today. And as part of that, I'll show you how to use how to configure approval rules using different or different participants. So I've logged into ECDP test instance, and I will go into the transaction console from where you can set up the workflow approval rules. And the way you go to transaction console is you don't need to go to setup and maintenance. Click on tools, and you have a transaction console available in there. Click on it. And in the transaction console, you will have three tabs in there. In the summary screen, you will basically see the transactions that are undergoing approval process at the moment. You might see the purchasing documents. You might see the jobs that are created. You might see the journals or invoices which are undergoing approvals at the moment. And you've got various options or various search options available, which can help you to filter down the requests that you're seeing here. By default, you will see only failed requests. And if you take out that filter, you will be able to see all the requests in there. And for every request, you will have a transaction number, the status, and the process name. This is important. This process is nothing but the approval process name. Okay, so this is related to purchasing, this is related to requisition, and this is related to expense. And here you can search for the request by status, by process name, by priority, or by who has submitted it, etc. We will come back to this screen to review where our requests are pending, or to see the latest status of the request that we're going to kick off in the session. We'll come back to this screen and review it. In the analytics, you will have some analytical information which doesn't really help us in any way. We don't do anything in particular in real time as well here. So go to approval rules. This is a main screen where you set up the approval rules. And to set up an approval rules, the first thing you need to do is, by the time you reach this page, you would know the approval process that you need to configure. Okay, so the client would have told you for what process they want you to write the rules. Okay, so you will have, if you look at this list, you will have hundreds of approval process or hundreds of process available here. And these processes range from HCM, so they are across offerings again. So you have a process for a job creation in HCM. So if you search for a job, you can create job, edit job, etc. And if you remember, for each process again, you have for each entity again, you have got multiple processes. Which means, say for example, if you take HCM job as an example, you can enable approvals for job creation, and you can bypass it if it is edited. So for an entity, again, you could have multiple processes, and for each process, you can decide whether you want to enable approvals or not. So say, for example, you have approval process for job, you have approval process for grade, you have approval process for employee as well. So if you hire an employee, what is the approval process that needs to get kicked off? So you have an approval process in there, and you can decide whether you want to enable approvals or not. And if you enable approvals, then you can configure approval rules here. And the first key thing is, and this is not only about HCM. You've got even the finance related approval process here. If you search for invoice, you will see invoice approval. If you search for journal, you will see a journal approvals as well. Okay, so don't think that it's just for HCM. And irrespective of the approval process you pick up, here, or the process you pick up here, the way you configure the rules doesn't change. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you pick hire an employee process or whether you pick create a job process. The options that are available for you in the configure rules section doesn't change. So for that reason, what I would suggest is when you guys are practicing it, pick up a process which will take a least amount of, or which will need least amount of effort to create a transaction. Say, for example, if you have to hire an employee, I'm not sure if Core HR is done for you. If you have to hire an employee, you have to fill in the information in at least 5 pages, and you have hundreds of fields to fill in, right? So it will take at least 15-20 minutes to hire an employee successfully. And but say, for example, if you pick a process like create job, okay, so the job is HCM workforce structure, right? So you can, if you pick up this process, it would probably take 1 second for you to create a job, because all you have to do is fill in the job name and the job code and submit it. So pick up a process which takes in least amount of work to create transactions, because what we are going to do in the session is we're going to keep changing the configure rules, and to validate those rules, we'll be creating the transactions. We'll be creating at least 10 to 15 transactions. Okay. So if you pick up a process that doesn't need much effort from you to create a transaction, it will help you. You will be able to focus on a configure rule section rather than on the data entry. So if you pick up a process like hire an employee, when you start practicing it, you might think that you are doing a data entry job. You will lose the focus on the configure rules. So my suggestion would be to pick up a simpler process. It need not necessarily be create job. You can pick up a create job, create grade, or create organization, any process, but pick up one that needs least amount of effort. So we'll pick up create job as an example, and we try to explore how we can set up the approval rules. When you pick up a process, yes, identifying the process is the first thing. And once a process is identified, there are two things you can do. You can bypass the approvals for that specific process, or enable approvals. And at this point, what is this? This is called as bypass approvals. And if this is picked or enabled, that means whenever you create a job in HCM application, that particular transaction will be bypassed approvals, and a job will be created in the application. So if I go back into if I log into the application from a different browser, okay. So here at the moment in the instance, for a job creation, approvals are bypassed, right? So what this means is, if any user logs into the application and creates a job, that job should get created automatically. So what I mean by that is, let me log into the instance as Fusion.tech user. And where do you create jobs from? You go into, to create a job, you have to go into a setup and maintenance or FSM screen. And you can search for job, manage job. And to create a new job, you can click on the create button here and enter the details in there. And say, for example, if you say, so let's create a job with today's date, Feb 18th. Okay. And Feb 18th, what do we, okay, let's call it as a test job. Or let's do it this way. I've got some transactions in here, so I'll copy them. Instead of FP13, I'll replace it as Feb 18th. Okay, so the first test is a bypass approvals. So we have approvals bypassed at the moment for create job process. So we are in the create job screen now in the same application, ECBP test, and we are trying to create a job. We'll call the job as Feb 18th. I'll just use Feb 18th as an identifier. We'll just call it as a bypass approval job. Okay. And let's click on next. And the reason I picked up create job process is I don't need to enter anything else to create a job. All I have to do is just, if I could create a job with just a name and a code. And yes, the status, or there's another mandatory column called status, but it has a default value of active. So which means I can directly go ahead and submit the request. And when you click on submit here, what is it that you are doing as a user? You are submitting a request for this job to be created, You're submitting a request. You're not creating the job. You're submitting a request for the job creation. And should that request go through approval process or not? What will application do when you hit yes here? Application will come into this screen. And since the action that you're performing is create job, it will check whether this is enabled or not. And since this is enabled, what application will do? It will directly create this job. It will insert this job into the base tables. And the job will get created. So when user logs in and submits, tries to create a job, it's just that they're submitting a request for a job creation. They're not creating the job itself. They're submitting a request. So if I click on yes here, since the approvals are bypassed, you should get a confirmation here. You get a confirmation that request was submitted. And if you search for the job, it should have been created by now. And why was it created? Why didn't it go through the approval process? It didn't go through the approval process because just bypass approvals checkbox is enabled. Okay, this is test case 1. So if a client says that for any process, approvals need to be bypassed or approvals are not required, all you have to do is search for the process name here and tick this box. As simple as that. And what if client wants to enable approvals? The first thing you need to do is you need to take off this checkbox. That this ensures that approvals are not bypassed, and every job request submitted will go through approval process now. And you have another option called alert initiator on error. So what this means is if you have this state, so I would advise you to leave this state or check this whenever bypass approvals is unchecked, because what this will do is if something goes wrong in the approval process, at least initiator, meaning if it's user A submits a request, if down the line, if workflow encounters any error, at least the user A will get a notification saying that there was some error that occurred in processing their request. So that way, at least the user will know that the job will not be created and there was some issue. He will not live in a hope that job will be created someday, right? So ensure that you tick this box, and this is where you configure the rules. And you click on it, and this is where you spend most of your time, configure rules. So here we are enabling approvals. We have unchecked the bypass approvals, which means enabling approval. And if I go ahead and submit a request now, another request, whom should it go for approval? Whom should it go for approval will depend on the rules configured here. So when you come into this screen for the first time, you will not see anything here. Okay, don't think that Oracle would have given some seeded approval rules here. Okay, don't think that you will have some seeded flows here. It will be blank screen. You will have to write your own approval rules. Okay, so when you come in here, it will probably look like this. Okay, it will probably look like this. So you have an if clause, and you have the approvals whom you can use in the approval rules, and yeah, you can start building your rules. Okay, and this is where we will show you how to use some of these options in the approval rules. Okay, let's take in a few use cases for this. Let's say the client has told you that whatever, irrespective of who submits a job, so where all the jobs, the client has told me that they should go to Fusion.Func user for approval. It doesn't matter who submits a job request, it should go to approval, but it should go to a specific user for approval. What do you do in that case? You will go ahead and click on the plus icon. You add in a condition. Okay, so you can select the if clause, or you click on the plus icon that adds an if rule. That adds in a rule, and you click on the rule. Let me reduce the zoom size a little bit, and you can set up the rule conditions here. So you can call this as probably a default rule. And for each rule, again, you can set up, there are a few attributes that you can set up. You can make them inactive if you don't want them to be in effect, but usually they'll be in active status, and there is a priority you can assign. We will leave this as medium priority for now. I'll in one of the future use cases, I'll show you what is the significance of this priority. Or to keep it simple, if there are multiple rules, the rules will be executed in the priority order, or in the order, in the priority. So the rules which has the highest priority will be executed first when compared to rules with the lowest priority. Okay, but sometimes we notice that, not sometimes, many a times we notice that this priority doesn't work as expected. So when we write the rules, we write them in such a way that the rules are mutually exclusive. Okay, we'll get into it in a moment. For now, let's leave the priority as medium. And you have an option you can put in a description if you want, and you can configure the rule conditions here. So if you click on configure rule conditions, by default, the rule that got added when you clicked on the plus icon, that had a condition 1 equal to 1. So when will 1 equal to 1? So this condition is always true, right? 1 is always equal to 1. So we'll see how to edit this option and write in complex conditions in a while. But for now, what is the condition that we have here? 1 equal to 1. And if you edit selection, you can see how Oracle has written this condition for us when we click on the plus icon. So it says if it selected enter a number option and it entered 1 equal to, it is comparing it 1 with 1. So it is basically a dummy condition which will become true for all the scenarios. So any job you create, this rule becomes true. And in the then clause, this is where you will plug in the approvers. So when this condition satisfies, or when this condition is satisfied, whom do you want to send it for approval? Okay, whom do you want to send it for approval? And as an approver, if this condition is satisfied, whom do you want to send it for approvals? Approvers, you will select those approvers here. And as an approver, you can use any combination of these approvers. You can send it to a specific user for approval. You can auto-approve the request. You can send it to a representative. I'm not sure how to configure representatives, but in some modules like payroll or core HR, you can configure representatives. And if you configure one, you can use them in approval flows. And apart from these three options, you can also use hierarchy as well. Say, for example, when user submits a request, say if that transaction needs to go to his manager for approval, and after his manager approves it, if it has to go to his manager's manager, that is nothing but a management hierarchy, right? So in such cases, you can use management hierarchy as approval here. And when you use management hierarchy, you can also set up how many levels of approval you want to use, and what is the top approval. There are certain settings that you can use with hierarchy. And along with management hierarchy, you can use a couple of other hierarchies as well, like the job level hierarchy or a position hierarchy. Okay. So what happens if you use position hierarchy? If you are an analyst and if you submit a request, to analyst position, there would have been a parent position attached, and that parent position would have been attached to a different employee, and that a different employee will get an approval notification. And that other person, who is probably a senior analyst, might have to approve your request. So that is how a job position-based hierarchy works. Job level also works more or less the same way. And you've got approval groups as well. Say, for example, when a particular condition is met, you want the transaction to go to approval group. and all the participants you have in the approval group needs to approve it. So in such case, or if you have a group of participants who needs to approve a transaction, you can create an approval group with those participants, and you can use those approval groups in the rules here. Okay. And I will show you the prerequisite for this is you need to create an approval group first, and only then you can use this as an approver here. So we'll go through that process in a while. And you can also use application role as an approver. And what this means is if you probably use application role here, and if you select up, and the moment you use application role, you will be able to pick up application role here. And if you pick up human resource specialist, any user submits a request. If there are a couple of human resource specialists in the application, if there are 2 users who have that role, those 2 users will see the request waiting for their approval. And if any one of them approves it, the request gets approved. So this is like using application role as an approver. So we'll do a hands-on exercise throughout the session, and I'll show you how to use a user, how to auto-approve it. I'll show you how to use management hierarchy, and I'll also show you how to use approval group as an approver. And you can try out the other ones. So in this particular use case, so what's the use case that we have? Client said that initially we tested the bypass approvals option, and now we are checking out this option wherein we want to send in the request for a specific user for approval always. It should be sent to fusion.func user, irrespective of who submits it. So what do I do in that case? I click on then, and it's slightly tricky here, guys. So please pay attention. So you see approvers here, and you see a plus icon here, but you see that the plus icon is not enabled. For this plus icon to be enabled, you have to click on then, and when you click on then, you will notice that the plus icon gets enabled, and you can use any of these approvers as or you can use any of them in the approval rules. So I want to send all the jobs to fusion.func user for approval. So I'll select users, I will add it in. And when I select users, it gives me an option to configure it. And when we are sending the transaction to a user, you can send it in 2 different ways. You can send a for your action kind of a notification where a user will have approve and reject buttons, or you can send in for your information kind of a notification wherein it just lets him know that something has happened. Okay, so here we want to send approval required notification, not information only notification. And we want to send it to a specific user. So select user in there, and you click on the drop down, and you can search for the users. And you search for the users, you can search for fusion.func user. And you can save the process. And once you do this, you save the process, and you get this confirmation that approval rules are saved. And if you try to if you go into the application and if you submit a request, you will notice that these changes will not take effect. Even if you go ahead and submit a request, another job now, the job gets created without going through the approval process, even though we have rules configured here. That's because we have just saved the approval rules, but we did not commit them. So this is the first common mistake students do. So you set up everything and you save it, but you forgot to submit it. And if you try to test the configuration, it will work as if you have not made any of this change. So for these changes to take effect, you have to submit them. Submit them. Click on yes and wait for the confirmation. And yeah, once you get the confirmation, you can go back to the other session and you can kick off another request. And we will test a couple of use cases here. So I will create approval by fusion.func job, and we will submit a request. I'll not enter anything and I'll just submit the request. And this time, what application will do, it will go again and check in this particular screen. It could see that approvals are enabled, and then it will get into the rules to determine whom should it be sent for approval. And here in the rule section, what did we do? We added in a condition, if condition, where we said 1 equal to 1, which will become true for all the jobs. And for all the jobs, it should be sent to fusion.func user for approval. So this condition becomes true for all the jobs because 1 always equals 1. And so all the jobs will go to fusion.func user for approval now. Let's go ahead and submit the request and see if it works fine. The request is submitted. And I can go into the transaction summary screen to see where the request is pending. I can take out this default failed filter, and you will be able to see the job that you have created. And it takes a little bit of time for the approval to be populated. So if you immediately come to this screen as soon as you submit it, approval might not be populated, but give it few seconds or few minutes, it'll be populated. And what you can do is, I will log into the instance as fusion.func user. So I'll open up an incognito window and I will log in as fusion.func user. And I'll see whether the request is waiting for my approval or not. Okay. And if I look at the work list, okay, so these are sort of for my information kind of notifications, but we don't see, okay, accounts manager job. Okay, this is not something that we created. So the request that we created it's not showing up. It didn't show up yet. So let's go down. It's not showing up yet. So let's go to transaction summary once and see the status of it. And you could see the approver populated now, and the approver is populated as fusion.func. So that means, if you just sign out and sign in, it just takes a moment for the information to flow to approver. You could see that the number has increased, and you could see the transaction has come to fusion.func user for approval. And I can see approve and reject buttons. I can directly act on it by clicking on this quick actions available, or I can click on it to see the details. I'll be able to see the details of the job. It takes a little bit of time here. So once the details of the job are pulled, I can review them, and I can, if I'm convinced with them, or if I'm okay with the details of the job, I can go ahead and approve it. Okay, I can see the job details. the job name, job code, reference data set, effective date, and other details of the job. And I can also see who submitted it. And if I go to actions, I will have a number of options available here. Okay, all are self-explanatory, and I can approve or reject the job. If I'm happy with the details, I'll go ahead and approve it. And if I approve it, since there is only one level of approval configured in the approval rules section, the job gets created. So I don't want to enter any comments, but if I want, I can enter comments, and I can also add in attachments as well if I want, and I can hit the submit button. And if you go back to the other session, if you search for the job now, the job would have been created now. So it's not yet created, but you should see it created in a moment. We have approved the request. I'm not sure if it's not captured here. Let me click on approve again. Okay, so it's acted upon now. And let's look at the request. You should see the job created now. Till the time it is not approved, the request will not be created as a job. And now you could see that the job is created. And let's carry out a negative test for this. So if you create a new job, and we're going to reject this job as a Fusion.Func user. Submit another request, and we're going to reject this. And I want to show you that once the request is rejected, it will never be created as a job. So only for this one, we'll carry out a negative test. So I can sign out and sign in back again to see the new approval. In real time, you don't need to sign out and sign in. Probably it may take a couple of seconds, or after a couple of minutes, or after every 5 minutes, you will notice the work list gets refreshed. But since we can't wait that long in the training session, I'll keep signing out and signing in, but you don't have to do it in real time. Go to the work list. You should be able to see the new request waiting for your approval. Reject by Fusion.Func user. This is the second one that we created, and I'm going to reject this. And if you reject this, since you are rejecting it, it will never be created as a job. So this request will never be created as a job. It usually shouldn't take this long. I'm not sure why. Yeah, you could see that it's acted upon now. And if you search for the job, reject by Fusion.Func user, it should not be created as a job because approver rejected the request. Okay, so that's how a specific user approval works. Now let's. Okay. You can track it by going into the summary screen. So if you go into transaction summary, if you refresh the page here, you will be able to see the details in here. You will be able to see that are submitted, and you can also figure out whether they are approved or rejected here. Okay. And now let's try to complicate the use case. Let's go to approval rules. Search for create job again. and go to configure rules. And let's say the client has changed the use case, and say probably the Fusion.Func user would have complained saying that he is receiving too many requests for approval. And client said, okay, send in only the full-time and regular jobs to Fusion.Func user for approval. All other jobs, auto-approve them. Okay, so which means only the full-time or regular jobs need to be sent to Fusion.Func user for approval. All other jobs should be auto-approved. So this full-time and regular are two attributes that you select while creating a job. Okay, so we need to change the condition in such a way that not all the jobs should go to Fusion.Func user. 1 equal to 1 no longer works. So we need to change the condition to this. Okay, so let's see how to achieve this use case. So we already have a condition and we are sending it to Fusion.Func user, right? But here we are checking 1 equal to 1. We need to change this condition in such a way that only the full-time regular jobs will go to user. First of all, let me show you where that full-time and regular job attributes are. So if I try to create a job, if you go into the second page, you see two options there, full-time or part-time and regular or temporary. So only the jobs for which this is selected as full-time and this attribute is selected as regular, only the jobs which are full-time, regular should be sent to Fusion.Func user for approval. All other jobs should be auto-approved. How do we configure such use case? So we need to change this. So we need to write two conditions here. One condition wherein we check a full-time regular jobs, we will send it to Fusion.Func user for approval. We don't need to edit this condition. But we need to add in one more condition wherein we say the job wherein we check the job is not full-time or not regular, or negative condition of the first one basically, and we use this auto approve option here. Okay, so let's first change the first condition. It's not a default rule anymore. It's a full-time regular job rule, and we can assign the priority as highest because we're going to have multiple rules, and I want this rule to be executed first and the second rule after that and the next rule after that. So I will assign highest priority to this. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, but let's give it a try. We assign highest priority to this and go to configure rule conditions. And what do I want to check here? I need to check if the job is full-time or regular. So I need to look at the attributes that user picked while submitting a job request. For these two attributes, I need to check what user has picked. So to write in condition, click on 1 equal to 1 condition, click on edit selection, and you can write complex conditions here, quite complex conditions. So if you click on the drop down, you have few options available here. You can enter a number, string, boolean, or a function, or a date. But you can also select attribute as well. So if you select from attribute, you can read the attribute with which the user has submitted a job request. So you click on the select attribute and you look at the proposed job. Again, you have got multiple options available there. So I am interested in the proposed job, full-time or part-time attribute. So I want to check if user has picked this attribute as full-time or not. So I'll select operator as equal to equal to. Again, you have got a number of options available here. You can explore them. And what I can do is I can click on enter a string and I can type in a value here. I can type in a value like full-time. But there is a chance that I might commit a typo there, right? So instead of taking a chance, instead of selecting it as enter a string and typing the value yourself, you can click on the drop down and you have another option called select from LOV. And if you click on select from LOV, if you click on the drop down for this particular attribute in the application, you will see two values, right? Full-time and part-time. That is what you're seeing here. For this particular attribute, you're seeing full-time and part-time, two attributes. So whatever options you see in the LOV, in that attribute LOV in the application, those values will be available in this drop down as well. So you click on select from LOV and you click on the drop down and you select part full time. So this way you will avoid the typos. If you have selected an option called enter a string, you would have definitely typed in full and time. P also you would have typed in caps. Right? So to avoid typos, prefer select from LOV and select a full time. And if you click on OK, you will notice the condition getting added. And this condition checks if the job is created as a full time or not. But is this condition sufficient for us? It is not sufficient, right? We also need to check if it is a regular or not. And the condition we need to check is AND. So it could be OR as well. The client could have said OR as well, but he said AND. So I'll show you, since he said AND, I'll show you how to use AND condition or logical operator called AND. But if he had said OR, you could easily replace the logic or extrapolate the logic I'm going to do now with OR operator. So I need to check if the job is full-time and regular. So I need to add in to this condition, I need to add in one more condition. So select the condition, click on AND. You can write another condition with AND or not. You can click on AND you can say select AND you can add expression. That will create another condition. And what do you want to select here? Select from attribute, propose job, and you select whether it is a regular or temporary, and you select equal to, value type you select from LOV, and you select the job as regular, and click OK. Click OK again. And what is the condition now? So this job is a full-time job and a regular job. So this condition becomes true only if the job is full-time regular. Click OK. And whom do you have to send it for approval? You have to send it to Fusion.Func user for approval. But apart from this, there is another condition that you need to configure, else condition. What did the client say? If it is not a full-time regular job, it need not go through the approval process, because there could be many part-time jobs. We don't want those requests also to go through approval process, just auto-approve them. So we need to configure this else condition to auto-approve the job. How do we add it in? You can duplicate this rule. So you can select the rule and you can duplicate it. Duplicate the selected rule. And you can select the rule, and you can take out one, and you can say it's not a full-time regular job, and we'll assign the priority as lowest. And in the configure rule conditions, we go in there and we select the condition and we say it's not equal to. Not equal to, select from attribute, select from LOV, and full-time, not equal to full-time. So we say if the job is not equal to full-time and if the job is not equal to regular, you can say select from LOV, and you select regular in that. So if the job is not a full-time regular job, then what do you want to do? You don't want to send it for approval. You don't want to send it to a specific user for approval. Instead, you want to auto-approve it. So you select the users and delete it. And you select this then clause and you add in auto-approval option. So this self auto-approve means the request gets auto-approved. You don't have to configure anything. And you can save it. And submit the groups. And the changes are committed now. Let's go ahead and run a couple of use cases. We'll create one job as a full-time regular job. and we'll see whom will it go for approval. So go ahead and submit a request. Sorry, I need to fill in the attributes. So I'll say full-time regular job. So I'm creating the first job as a full-time regular job, and it needs to go to approval. It needs to go to Fusion.Func user for approval. That's a use case. Submit. Because we're testing the if condition now. We're testing the if condition, and then we'll test the else condition after that. A request submitted. And you can probably log out and log in back again as Fusion.Func user. And you could see that this full-time regular job has come to me for approval, Fusion.Func user. That's because that is how we have configured rules, right? We are checking if the job is full-time regular, then we are sending it to Fusion.Func user. So I'll approve it. Until the time I don't approve this request, the job will not be created. Okay, so you can see the request has gone through now. And if you go back and search for the job, it should have been created by now. Okay, now let's send in another request. And this is not a full-time regular job. And this should not go to the approval process. In fact, it should go to the approval process, but it should get auto-approved. It should not be sent or forwarded to Fusion.Func user. So let's go ahead and create this and see if it gets created straight away. So part-time, so say temporary job. Submit the request. So it's not a full-time regular job. It's a part-time temporary job. And as per the client requirement, this request should get auto-approved. Okay, you could see that the job is not created yet. Okay, you could see that it has been created now, and it didn't go through any approval process. That's because it went into the other condition wherein we have set it up as auto approved. Okay, so that's how you set up auto approval and a conditional based routes. So if you go back into the configure rules section. So if it's a full-time regular job, we are sending it to Fusion.Func user for approval. Not a full-time regular job, we are auto-approving it. Okay, so this is how you write the conditions. You can use logical operators in there and write complex conditions. And you can also send it to a specific user. And one common mistake, not common mistake, one misconception that the students usually have is, yes, we use only one approver at a time in the training sessions, but that does not mean you can only use one. You can use any combination of approvals in each and every branch. So here, after the Fusion.Func user approves it, I can use management hierarchy, or you can use approval group. So you can use one or any combination of these approvers in any of the routes, in any of the branches. Okay, so don't think that you can use only one, since we are using only one in the training session. Okay, so to keep it simple, we are using one to avoid the confusion, but you can send it to any number of approvers here in any of the branches. And let's say the client has changed the condition now. So even then, let's assume that Fusion.Func user complained that he's still receiving so many requests. So client said that, okay, let's not send everything to Fusion.Func user, let's use management hierarchy. Any user submits a job, it should go to his manager for approval, only if it is a full-time regular job. So if a user logs in and creates a full-time regular job, it should use management hierarchy, and it should go to his manager for approval. And if his or her manager approves it, the job should get created. And if it is not a full-time regular job, we will leave this branch as is. So to keep it simple, we won't change the else condition for the next two iterations. We will leave it as auto-approved. But in the if condition, main if condition, wherein we are sending it to Fusion.Func user for approval, we will replace it with management hierarchy, and we will use only one level of management hierarchy. And for this management hierarchy, let me show you, I'm going to use Fusion.Func user. I'm going to log in as Fusion.Func user, and I'm going to submit a request. And when I submit a request as Fusion.Func user, it will go to 3185 for approval. That's because in the instance for Fusion.Func user, 3185 is configured as a manager. Okay, and these are the two passwords that you can use to carry out the test cases in the test instance. So when you're practicing it, you can use these passwords. This password for Fusion.Func user and this password for 3185 a user. You can log into the instance as these users with these passwords. Let me share this over the chat. And in here, so let me show you first that 3185 is a manager of Fusion.Func user. So if you go into the application, if you go to my client group, go to person management, and say Fusion.Func user, open it up. And if you scroll down, if you look at the assignment and if you scroll down, you will be able to see a manager section, manager details, and who is the manager for this 3185 employee, which is Elder Eugene, is a manager for Fusion.Func user, and he's a line manager. He's a line manager. So we will go ahead and use approval hierarchy in the configuration now. So we go back to the configure rules. And what is a new use case now? So client said that it should not always go to Fusion.Func user. So all the full-time regular jobs should not go to Fusion.Func user. Instead, depending on the user who submits a job, it should go to his manager. Or in other words, management hierarchy needs to be used. So we take out users from the first branch. You drop in management hierarchy. So if it's a full-time regular job, then use management hierarchy. And when you select management hierarchy, you can set up few options in there. You can select whether it is an approval required for your action or for your information notification. Leave it as approval required. route using line manager and use the approval chain of requesters. So meaning if you log in and submit a request, it will take your approval chain, meaning it will go to your manager using a line manager hierarchy. And approval process will start with a manager, meaning if you submit a request, it will approval process should start with your manager. It will go to your manager first. So this is a default option. You can go ahead with the default options as these. And you can also decide on the number of levels you want to use. If client says that a request should get created only, a job should be created after your manager approves it, then one level will be sufficient. If client says that no, 2 levels of approval is required, user, when they submit a request, it should go to his manager, and after his manager approves it, it should go to his manager's manager. Then what do? You will have to increase the number of levels to 2 here. Otherwise, 1 level will do. So we don't have a manager configured for 3185 employee, so we'll go with only 1 level. And in some cases, you might have 2 or 3 levels used by a client. And you also can set up a top approver here. So what this means is, say for example, if you use 2 or 3 levels, say for example, you have a person who is 2 levels below a VP submitting a request. Since the approval is configured to work as 3 levels here, the transaction would even go to VP for approval, right? So, but that might not be acceptable to the client. So they might want approvals to stop at a specific position, or they want you to set up a top approver so that approvals doesn't go beyond them. Okay, so they can configure it, or it can be configured using the top approver option here. Okay, so it is configured as manager at the moment, and you can leave it that way. Then save it.
So will that get auto approved after reaching to the top level manager? Top approval?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And you save the approval process and submit it. Approval rules are committed. And let's go ahead and submit it and submit another full-time regular job. Create a new one. Full-time regular job, approval by management hierarchy. Go ahead and submit it. And I cannot submit it as fusion.tech user. I will have to submit this as fusion.func user. So I am already logged in as fusion.func user here. So let me put in a request from this session. And I need to create this as a full-time regular job and submit it. And I'm submitting this request as fusion.func user, and the manager for this user is 3185. So since we have used a management hierarchy, it should go to 3185 for approval now. So I will log out from here, or I will log out from this session, and I will log in as 3185 employee. and you look at the work list. Not sure if it has already come or not. But yeah, you could see that the job has come for our approval. It has come to 3185 for approval, Eugene Elder. And that's because we use a management hierarchy. And the moment I click on approve, since we selected only one level of management hierarchy approval, this job should get created in the application. And I click on approve, you should see the request getting created. If you have selected two rules in there, so you could see the job created. If you have probably selected two levels in the management hierarchy, then it would have gone to 3185, a manager of 3185 after 3185 approves it. Okay. Okay, so let's change the use case a little bit. And we've seen how to use a management hierarchy. Now let's go ahead and see how to use approval group now. So the other hierarchies also work the same way, the position hierarchy and job level based hierarchy. Now let's go ahead and see how to use approval groups. So to use an approval group, I have to create one first. And the use cases, yeah, we'll stick to the same use case. If it's a full-time regular job, we don't send it to management hierarchy. Instead, say client asks you to send it to an approval group. If it's not a full-time regular job, we'll keep the use cases same. It should get auto-approved. But in case of full-time regular, instead of sending it to management hierarchy, we need to send it to approval group now. Before we go ahead and use approval group, or use this option here, we need to create approval group in first place. So to create approval group, you need to go to a specific task called Manage Task Configurations for HCM. So you go to this particular task. Let's log out. I'm signed in as Fusion.tech user. And you can go to the access the task by going into setup and maintenance. Go to global search, click on this task ribbon and go to global search and search for the task, Manage Task Configurations for HCM. And when you click on it, it will take you to a BPM page where you will be able to see certain options in here. So you can see the approval workflows that are configured, and whatever rules that you have that you're writing in here, using a transaction console, that comes to this particular screen and it gets synced here. So if you search for create job approval, you will be able to see whatever rules you have written here appearing in this particular screen. And to create an approval group, I need to go to approval group and I can create one. There are already quite a few approval groups available. I can create a new one by clicking on the plus icon. We will be using a static approval group. You will usually use static if the number of members in the approval group is fixed. And if it is not fixed, then you might probably think of using a dynamic approval group. I'm not sure how this really works. You can probably explore this. But for now, in the session, we'll create a static approval group. We'll give it a name. We'll call it as probably Feb 18. Save it. And you can add members to the group. Click on the plus icon and add in the members. You can add a user to the approval group, or you can add another approval group to the group, which means you can have nested approval groups. So let's add in Fusion. Let's add in 3185 employee as a first user, as a first approver. And let's add in another user. And let's select fusion.func user. Okay, you can search for fusion.func user. Select the user and click OK. Save the approval group. And if you want, you can move the members up and down. You can select the members and you can move them up and down using these arrow marks if you want. But as it stands now, if you use this approval group, if you send a transaction to this approval group, it will go to 3185 first, and after you approve it, it will go to fusion.func user. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to the approval rule section. Take out the management hierarchy. Take out the management hierarchy, and let's add in approval group. Select the 10 clause, add in the approval group. And you select the approval group, approval required, and you can click on the drop down and pick up the approval group that you have created. Feb 18 is the one that we created. Select it, save, and submit the configuration. And now let's go ahead and submit a transaction. Create a new job. And let's call it as a full-time regular job by approval group. Submit the request. Okay, and it should go to 3185 employee for approval first. So let's sign out and log in as 3185 employee. Because in the approval group, 3185 is the first employee that we have configured. It didn't come to 3185 employee yet. Sign out and sign in back again. Okay. Not sure if I've picked up a full-time and regular. I don't think I've picked up a full-time regular attributes in there. So it should have probably got auto-approved if I'm not wrong. Let's go ahead and check it out. While submitting the job request, I think I didn't pick the full-time and regular. Let me see if the job is already created. It's already created. That's because we didn't pick up those attributes. So let me add in one at the end. Full-time regular and submit it. And they should go to, since it's a full-time regular job, it should go to approval group now. And in the approval group, we have 3185 first and Fusion.Func user. So it should go to those two endpoints now. Sign out. Okay, you can see the request is waiting for our approval. And we have received this because we are part of an approval group, which has been used in the workflow rules configuration. So I'm going to approve this. And if I approve this, it should get forwarded to the next approver, who is Fusion.Func user. So if I sign out, it will go to Fusion.Func user. Okay, we could see that it is appearing as action required in there. That's red. I'm not sure where it has gone. So we've seen it. Okay. Let me change this to all notifications. And we can see that this has come to us for approval because we are a member of the approval group. If for some reason I'm not able to see the approval buttons in there. Usually you see that it's action required, but you don't see approval buttons in there. Let me sign out and sign in. You should see those two buttons as well, and you should be able to act on the notification. Well, that's okay, but yeah, I'm not sure what went wrong here, but you can put in another request and you will notice that after 3185 approves it, it will go to Fusion.Func user for approval. Okay, so this is how you can go ahead and explore all the options in there. And probably you guys might appreciate now why I asked you to pick up a simpler process here, because you would be putting in at least 10 requests, and the easier it is to create a transaction, the better you will be able to focus on a configure rule section rather than on the transaction creation as such. And we have seen how to use few of these approvers, and you can explore the other options available in there. Okay. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions in what we covered today? Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions in the chat. Could you please see that?
I'm not sure. I can see multiple comments in there. So do you want anything to be clarified in specific?
Yeah, something like, suppose if something came for approval, some request came from approval, is there any way that approval can modify something? Edit the request kind of thing.
Approver will not be able to modify something. He will just put in a comment and he will reject it.
Okay.
So he will not be able to modify the content of the job. Yeah.
Okay.
I know that you can see an edit button in there, but I'm not sure if it's allowed or not. But usually approvers don't edit the details on the request. So they will either take a call, either approve or reject it. That's what the managers usually do it, or manager or any approver. Yeah.
Yeah, clear. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? So I could. Yes.
Yeah, the approval group which we create, the route we gave that series, and can you give parallel also in that?
In static, we don't have parallel. I think it might probably exist in the dynamic approval group. I haven't used dynamic yet, but probably you can explore that. In the static, you can only give in a parallel approvals. You cannot you can use only a sequential approval in a static group. You cannot have parallel approvals. In dynamic group, I think you have that option. You should have that option.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Practice well, and if you get any questions on the approvals, Ravi will clarify it in the next session. Or if you want something to be answered by me, you can send out a request to admin. He will forward it to me, and I will respond back in case if you have any doubts on what we covered today.
Can you please share the PPT so that we can use the
Yes, I will do it right now. I'll share it in the chat. You guys can copy it.
And the password, username and password.
Passwords I already shared, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Passwords I have already pinged in the chat. I've shared the PPT now. Okay, download the PPT, copy the passwords as well, and you can use practice. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks.